When I assumed the presidency of the party, there were some legacy debts that I inherited, and we have made significant progress in managing those and getting those paid.
The financial status of the party, particularly as it relates to the funding of the annual conference coming up, and if you will, could you share with us whether members of the private sector, for example, will be assisting in donation to help fund the annual conference?
Well, financially, a party that is in opposition, is not in the same state as a party that is in government. However, what we've been able to do is that we've been able to bring our books up to date. And so our audited financial statements, those are up to date. We've been able to do some things centrally at the headquarters of the party in terms of we've been able to increase the salaries of the members there. We've been able to ensure that their statutory deductions and all of those things are up to date. So in that regard, I think that we're in a healthy state. Clearly, we would want to work on our health to get even healthier. But in that regard, I don't have any complaints about that. In terms of sponsorship, again, when you're in opposition, that you have a limited amount of donors that you're calling on. You're calling on them for different things. There are persons in the private sector who continue to support the party, and we are grateful to those persons. We want to put it on record that we appreciate those donations, and we look forward to maintaining that healthy relationship and to others coming on board to give support to the party as well. We've always been a party that has been about an alliance of progressive elements in the different classes of the society. So you will have persons in the different classes of the society that supports the party. And we get contribution even from the grassroots level. We still want that contribution. So there are persons there that can make their donation of $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever it is, and we appreciate that because we've always been structured in such a way that we do not allow any influence, whether it's monetary or otherwise, to affect how we operate as an organization, and therefore we are very open in our funding mechanism and modalities. But we are having a conference this week, and it does require some resources, and we are mobilizing for it. And you will be there on Sunday.
Estimated cost?
We're not going to disclose that, but what I would tell you, Edmund, is that, when I assumed the presidency of the party, there were some legacy debts that I inherited, and we have made significant progress in managing those and getting those paid. I want to commend our treasurer, who's very methodical, very professional, very structured in how she approaches these things. She's doing an excellent job. So, as has been said, we've brought our financials current, and we will be publishing our audited financials once their actual statements are finalized. But the audit work has been done, and we were the first party, and maybe the only party, to have published audited financial statements, which we started when I was treasurer. I think the first year we did it was 2009, I think, and we have been doing it. We would put it on our website. Certain donors asked for it, we'd send it to them. We fell behind a bit after I demitted office as treasurer. Audits are expensive, and other priorities got in the way and so on, and so we've had to get that back up again. But we are there now. I'm happy about that. In terms of support, we rely on the private sector. There's no public sector support for political parties officially. Of course, there's lots of it unofficially and illegally, and Joe Biden would know that. But none of that comes to the opposition. That all goes to the government side. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
the same private sector that Mr. Cousins had a few words for.
The private sector is not a homogeneous thing. There are different elements that make up the private sector. What I would tell you is that the enlightened members of the private sector see the importance of supporting the political system of the country, supporting the democracy. They recognize that for the democracy to function and ensure that the rights and openness of our society are maintained, they need to ensure that the democracy is healthy, and you can't operate a political structure with no funding. So many private sector entities support both parties and do so as part of what they consider to be good corporate governance, and I salute them for that. And some of them publish it in election campaign times, in other times they may not publish it, and the amounts are much smaller anyway, but they do support both parties. So our conference is going to be funded in that way, and to the extent that we may not raise everything that we need up front, but we'll, to the extent that we have some payables, we'll pay those down over the next few months, which is a normal way in which we operate.